Good afternoon, everyone, most especially for my teacher, Sir Jake Poverada, and as well as my fellow classmates in the subject Software Engineering for the Master in Information Technology at the UNOR Bacolod. So today, the purpose of this video is that I will going to present my topic, which is the software maintenance. Okay, without a further ado, let's discuss what is the software maintenance. Okay, so I have here five topic outline, which includes the number one, the introduction of software maintenance. The next is the brief history. Next is importance of software maintenance in software engineering. And number four, applications of software maintenance in software development. And last but not the least is the conclusion. Okay, so let's go now to the next slide. The introduction. Okay, software maintenance refers to the ongoing process of managing and updating software after its initial development and deployment. So which means if you have already finished your first project, what is next? It is a software maintenance. So make it works as intended. Okay? It encompasses activities aimed at ensuring the software continues to meet its intended goals and remains effective and efficient over time. So the purpose of the software maintenance is to make sure that even if the project is done, the software remains the same. Or if there are any updates about it, we can update the system as well. Okay? So maintenance is a crucial phase in the software development lifecycle and involves various tasks. What are those? Number one, including bugs fixes. Example, if there are problems. Okay, I just lost network connection. Just wait. Okay, so what are those? Including bugs fixes. So if there's a problem with your system, you cannot update, edit, or delete. So that's it. We need to correct that or to change in order to work properly, right? Updates and enhancement. For example, your company become larger. So obviously, your system will grow as well, right? Adaptation to environmental changes, so on and so forth. Okay. So next, we'll go to the next slide. So we are now on the brief history. Okay. So we will discuss the brief history of the software maintenance, how it started and how is it right now. So let's start with 1950s to 1960s, the emergence of software engineering. So the year of the birth of the software engineering. Okay. So during the early days of computing, the focus was primarily on hardware. However, as software became more complex, okay, it bigger and bigger and bigger, the need for systematic approach to to software became more complex, and the software development arose. So the term software engineering was coined or created by Ms. Margaret Hamilton in the early 1960s, emphasizing the importance of a disciplined approach to the software development. So that's what happened on the early stages of software engineering. So let's move now to the 1970s, which is transition to maintenance. Okay? Developers started recognizing the importance of maintaining existing software, right? The waterfall model, one of the best and one of the first, okay, SDLC of or software life cycle. So it is a traditional software development methodology. So one of those included a maintenance phase, okay, highlighting the need for ongoing support and updates. So that means in every project, in waterfall model, there's a maintenance phase, which we are maintaining the software in order to make it work as intended, or if there is updates that needed to be added, we will going to do that, right? So that's it for the 1970s. Next is the 1980s. Rise of software maintenance model. Okay, so 1980s saw the development of specific models and methodologies for software maintenance. Okay, Lehman's law of software evolution, proposed by Meyer Lehman, provided insight into the dynamics of software maintenance and evolution. So the idea of corrective, adaptive, and perfective maintenance activities gained prominence in that era, in the 1980s. Okay? So let's move on now to the next slide. So we are now on the 1990s. Okay? Software configuration management. What does it mean? Okay? The 1990s emphasized the importance of software configuration management tools and practices excuse me, for version control. What is version control? For example, you have the first project, okay, first system, and then the second system, and you have realized that the second system is not working great, and you need to go back to the first version. So we need a version control software. So what of the software version control that we have now is like Git or GitHub. Okay, it's just like turning back time when the code is working, unlike now that it's buggy. Okay, so that's it. Change management and documentation became crucial for effective software maintenance. Okay, so that's the purpose of version control. There is no word that there is no turning back. If you have a version control software, you can turn back time when your software is still working, right? Okay. So we are now here to the 2000s, the agile methodologies and continuous maintenance. Okay, what does it mean? The 21st century witnessed the widespread adaptation or adoption of agile methodologies, promoting iterative and incremental development. Okay? This shift contributed to more continuous and adaptive maintenance practices. So when you say agile, it's like creating a prototype right away, or you are skipping in order to produce a prototype system that you can show to your client. Okay? So it is a fast-paced type of development practices, allowing teams to respond quickly to changing requirements and user feedback. Okay? So we are now done with the 2000. Let's move to the 2010 and up to present. So the DevOps and continuous integration, continuous development, CI/CD. So the integration of development and operation practices further accelerated the pace of software maintenance. Continuous integration, continuous development, and automated testing become standard, enabling faster and more reliable updates to software systems. Okay? So that's all the brief history of the software maintenance. So let's now move on to the importance of software maintenance in software engineering. Okay? So, software maintenance in software engineering is vital for several reasons. Why is it important? Number one, bug fixing. So, means resolve post-deployment bugs, ensuring reliability. Right? So, if there's a problem, we need to fix that. Number two, adaptation. Align software with evolving user and business requirements. So means if you have new updates, if you delete this kind of department, you also delete that into your system. If you have another, if you add a department, for example, you have inventory management system now, or warehouse, you need to add inventory management system. Okay, so that's what you call adaptation. Next is security. Okay, one of the important. Addresses vulnerabilities and implement security updates. Okay? We don't want anyone unauthorized to access our systems and to get something which is vital to us, right? Next is the enhancement. So add new features, improves existing functionalities, and updates capabilities. Okay, if you are improving your company, the system will also improve, right? Next is performance optimization, analyzing and optimize software performance. Okay, one of good example is that the system is working. Doesn't mean that is it is good or the performance is really good. So when your project becomes bigger, also need to consider the performance. Example, processing something. If your current system can process it for 5 minutes, and there are some way to make it a lot shorter, so that's optimization. Okay, so that is one of the important thing of software maintenance. Okay. Next is cost savings. So proactively prevents major issues, really reducing long-term costs. Okay. Next is user support. Provides timely assistance, enhancing user satisfaction. Okay, one of the important thing that we need to do is to make it user-friendly, right? And then last is the documentation and maintenance. Keeps documentation current for better understanding. Last is sustainability. Contributes to the longevity and sustainability of software system. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so next slide is the application of software maintenance in software development. So software maintenance plays a crucial role in various aspects of software development, contributing to the overall success and longevity of software systems. So here are the key applications of software maintenance in software development. Number one, bugs fixing. Okay. So we are now in bug fixing, identifying and conducting software defects or bugs to enhance system reliability and performance. So we already talked that in the last panel. Okay, let's move on now to adaptation to changing requirements. So modifying the system or software to accommodate evolving user needs, business requirements, and regulatory changes. One of the example to adaptation of changes, for example, you have the customer service department in your company, and now you want to hire third party to do that for you. So in your system, you need to delete the customer related type of module in order to save cost for your company or maintenance. So that's it. So next is the security updates. So patching vulnerabilities and implementing security updates to protect the software from potential threats. Okay. Next is enhancement and feature updates. Introducing new features, improving existing functionalities, and updating the software to meet the changing user expectation. Okay. So let's move on now to the next slide. So we are now on the performance optimization, analyzing, optimizing the software performance to involve efficient operation under varying conditions. So same with the importance of the application, we can also do that. Next is the compatibility with new technologies. So updating the software to remain compatible with the latest operating system, hardware, and third-party libraries. For example, your system can only be encoded in Microsoft 2023. And then, for example, the Microsoft Office 2023 or 2003 no longer support, and you need to upgrade. So that's one of the excuse me, one of the needed type of applications of software maintenance, right? So next is code refactoring, restructuring the code base to improve maintainability, readability, and overall code quality. Okay, same as our house, we need to have a clean house to have clean mind. Same with that, you have to have a clean code in order to have uh, good functionality of our software. Next is database maintenance. One of the important in software maintenance. managing and optimizing the database structures and queries for better performance and data integrity. What is the example of those? For example, you have tables that you're no longer using, or there are redundancy in the table columns or table as well. So you need to have a maintenance in order to clean your whole database and delete what are the things that you are no longer using, right? And next is user interface, UI, and user experience refinement. Okay, enhancing the user interface and experience to meet modern design standards and usability expectation. So this is for the user side, the one using the software, right? And next is the documentation updates, keeping the documentation current to aid understanding, troubleshooting, and future development efforts, right? So if you just add a little module of your system, you need to create a documentation. Because if you are not doing a documentation, the module requirement will be piled up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until such time that you no longer know where and when and how your system works, right? And the next for this slide is the compliance and standards. So ensuring that the software complies with industry standards, regulations, and best practices to minimize or to prevent errors and such, right? So let's move on now to the next slide. Okay. So next is configuration management. What does it mean? So managing and versioning software configuration to track changes and maintain a reliable development environment. So for example, you have the version 1, then version 2, and also the version 3, and you have experienced that the version 1 is more sufficient than the version 2. So you need to go back there, you need to request to update your current system and to start from the scratch. So we can do that, right? Number 2, same with that, release management, planning and coordinating software releases, including versioning, the same that I talked a while ago about version 1, version 2, version 3. Deployment, it's about publishing your system. And rollback procedures. So when you say rollback procedures, you are now on version 3, you need to go back to version 1. All you need to do is to request a rollback process, PAC. Okay, so it is just like turning back time, right? The next is user support and training. This is for the person or the people that are using your system, providing ongoing support to users, addressing queries, and offering training on new features or changes that you added to your system. Okay, just that is one of the application of the software maintenance. And last but not the least is the performance monitoring and analysis. Continuously monitoring and analyzing software performance to identify areas for improvement and addressing potential bottlenecks, right? So let's go to the next slide. The last but not the least is the conclusion. Okay? Conclusion in summary. Software maintenance is a critical and ongoing process. So that means there's no ending point in software development. It encompasses activities such as bug fixing, number 1, adapting to changing requirements, security updates, and performance optimization. The application software maintenance are diverse, aiming for longevity, adaptability, and continued effectiveness of software system by addressing issues, incorporating enhancement, and keeping software aligned with evolving needs. Maintenance practices contribute significantly to the overall success of software engineering efforts, right? So organizations that prioritize and effectively implement software maintenance practices are better positioned in order to maximize the value of their software investments. Okay, so that is all of my report. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned much about the software maintenance. and I am expecting you to my next topic. Thank you so much, my classmates and Sir Jake Mamarada. Until next time. Bye bye.